Elevate yourself. Empower others. Welcome to Coach Approach Podcast. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Marko.
For anyone meeting you for the first time, when someone asks you, what do you do? How do you like to answer that?
I'd say, listen, I'm a coach for fitness. I do everything from uh, athlete level all the way to mom and pop training and people that just want to stay in shape. Because when people ask that, I mean, it can go all over in this fitness world, such as, okay, you're in the fitness industry, but how, what, when, what? So where? So you get always a lot of questions about, what do you do? So just like how you said it is, I'm a fitness coach. I've been a fitness coach for about 20 years, just like you said. And what I do is I coach a lot of athletes. I coach a lot of just regular clients that just want to lose weight, stay in shape. People all with different injuries and problems, diseases. We kind of deal with all that here over at HIIT Fitness Training.
You've been in personal training since high school, over
Yes, sir.
20 years.
Yes.
Can you take us back to the beginning? How did HIIT Fitness Training start and what were those early years look like?
Sure. So when I was growing up, I was into soccer. I was a soccer player growing up. Loved it. I played a lot of sports, but soccer was my favorite. And unfortunately, my career got cut short because I got in a traumatic car accident where I actually almost lost my left leg. So
Mm.
when I got hit by a car, I lost the lower half of my leg. But thank God for technology. Well, back in 1995, when I was like 10 or 11, um, that's when I got hit and kind of cut my soccer stuff out of the world. So growing up, my parents was always in the fitness. My mom and my stepdad at the time uh, was always going to the gym, playing racquetball, lifting weights, and he would bring us to the gym and say, "Hey, come on, let's go to the gym." And I think right around that like 13, 14 age, being in that being in that age range, it kind of just clicked. You walked in the gym and it's like four, like I said, 13, 14. And at that time you kind of think about what you want to do in life. So, and throughout my whole high school um going up to college, it was either going to be in the fitness industry, such as being a personal trainer, a coach, something, or a gym teacher. So I wanted to do either one, and I had to figure that one out. So, leading up to when I was 18 years old, graduating high school in 2002, uh, not unfortunate, but fortunately, my parents have developed one of the most prestigious personal training schools in the country, the National Personal Training Institute. When I was growing up, they were always in the trade schools. They had like massage therapy, they had bartending schools. This is where schools like a trade school where you want to go learn how to be,
Mhm.
a massage therapist or a bartender. You had to go to a little school, get a little schooling. And then he developed the National Personal Training Institute back in like 99 or 2000. And, once I graduated high school, I had the opportunity to go to the school. It's a 6 month program, 500 hours. It's not just like you take a test on the computer and you pass in 1 hour and then, hey, listen, I'm a coach now. I'm a personal trainer. Unfortunately, in this industry, it's unregulated, which I think it should be regulated, but that's a whole nother conversation we can have.
Mhm.
Um, but I had the opportunity to go to the school. I did 6 months, 500 hours. Uh, Learn about nutrition, program design, anatomy and physiology, you name it. We did it in 6 months. Especially my mentor Barry Fritz, and still is the head teacher for the National Personal Training Institute. He still works there. Uh, and then once I got done the course, I did a little personal training, and then I went off to college because I still wanted to learn more about the fitness industry. So I went out and got a degree in exercise science. And then once I graduated with my degree in exercise science, I developed, well, when I was in college, I developed HIIT Fitness Training. So I was already doing in home training. I kind of just didn't have a name yet. And then we just came across the name HIT, HIIT Fitness Training, which, in the fitness industry, when people say HIIT, HIIT, high intensity interval training. So we just kind of have it like that acronym. So I just did HIIT Fitness Training, high intensity training, right? Fitness training, and kind of just developed from there, man. Just like worked from the very bottom of the barrel and just kind of took off from a straight arrow from bottom all the way up, man. Um, so I'm happy to say, we're thriving, we're doing well. It's always a blessing. I'm very blessed, waking up every morning, 5, 6 o'clock and getting ready for work, man. It's definitely a blessing.
You went from renting a small office inside someone else's gym to buying
Yes,
and building your own 2,300 square foot facility. What were the
yes.
biggest turning points or decisions that allowed you to grow to that level?
So when I was renting space out of a gym, actually in the area, there's a point where people get greedy, such as, the gym owners. They see you thriving and they kind of want a piece more and more, and instead of just putting a price on it and call it a day. I finally hit a point where, when I was training in this gym for about 3, 4 years, there's a lot of personal trainers in this gym. There's one of those gyms where there's like 6, 7, 8 trainers renting like little closet rooms. And there was a point where I I hit a wall where I couldn't grow anymore. I had a good book, I had a good clientele, but I couldn't grow anymore. And plus the owner of this facility was just like, all right, listen, we're gonna uh, we're gonna charge more for the clientele. We need their credit cards, all this, and I wasn't really having that. I thought that was kind of like a cheap shot. So, excuse me. Then I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to find my own brick somewhere. So I went out and I found something about 1,000 square feet, um, where I rented space from. It was a what was it? It was like a little 1,000 square foot office in the back of a warehouse. It did
Mm.
its job. I had my own walkthrough. It did its job. I was very blessed there. And again, I hit that point again, which I had a lot of trainers working for me. At the time we had like about 4 trainers, 5 trainers, and then the clientele just started getting so big. And a 1,000 square foot studio, it's not as big as you think. So when we were training, we always had our own little spots, when all the trainers had their people in, and then my clients, and those trainers. But we kind of hit a point where, again, we hit a part of where we have to kind of build something a little bigger. I don't want a big, 10,000 square foot. When personal training, I want to keep it personal. I don't want to get lost in a big facility. You don't want to out rent yourself like a 5, 6 thousand square foot studio. I found a spot where, um, fortunately, I had a person come to me, knowing that the space was open. It was a previous landscape and junkyard. It was floor to ceiling with, oh man, lawnmowers, weed whackers, blowers, and you just walk in and you just know. It's just one of those moments where you have a blank canvas and you kind of just say, I'm doing ABC for my clientele, and then we're going to get even bigger. And that's what's happening. It's like, just like the famous quotes, if they build, they will come. Right. So that's exactly what I did. So we build it and they're coming, man. I'm very
Mm.
blessed.
Yeah, you mentioned that in a pre-call that it was basically a junkyard. And but what did you see that other people probably wouldn't have seen in that space?
So, I just saw the big open floor plane. I have a mezzanine on top. So it's like 2 floors. So I kind of like built like even a personal training studio up there also for more clientele that kind of just want them a little bit more private,
Mm.
because personal training, people like the one on one, they like the group. I do have 5, 6 trainers that work for us. And, some clients do come in and they kind of get a little bit overwhelmed when they're downstairs. And when they see, 5, 10, 15 people down there training, they can just go upstairs and build another and do their training up there. But what I saw when I came in, it's I had the opportunity now to build from the ground up. I did the
Mhm.
painting, I did the drywall, we did stairs, we built a shower, bathroom. I got to pick everything we did to make HIIT Fitness great. That's what we did. We got more equipment. Uh, we're in a better spot in the area. It's just it was one of those moments you walk in and you just know. Just like when people go in and they walk in the house and you just know.
Mm.
That's how I felt when I walked in this place when I said, "Listen, let me come take a look at it." And yes, you had to look over all the junk, the landscape and blowers. There's car engines in here. You just had to look over that, kind of close your eyes and just see, all right, this is it. This is going to be my new location, my headquarters. And it took us about 3, 4 months to build. And then
Mm.
after that, it's been booming ever since.
Perfect. And right now you got a team of 6 trainers plus your wife helping on the business side in
Yeah,
this
we
unit.
have
Yeah.
yeah, we have 2 female and we have 3 plus myself of males, and then my wife, God bless her, man. She does a lot of the marketing. She's the brains, man. She has her master's in marketing and all that business stuff. She's great. She does all that. I'm not really too educated on the Google Analytics and stuff like that. Um, but other than that, it's like we really rely on referrals.
Mm-hmm.
So like behind the scenes, she's awesome, dude. It's she does a lot for HIIT Fitness, and then fortunately she also works at the National Personal Training Institute, and she's been working there for 20 plus years, and she does all their business marketing and everything. So I'm lucky to have her behind the scenes on my company and help me out.
Mm-hmm. In this industry, trainers often stay a year or two and then move on. How do you think about hiring and developing trainers so that they serve your clients well while they're with you and they leave better, more confident and successful when they move on?
Sure, that's a good question. I had the opportunity to train under my belt of trainers that come in. We have a system, right?
Mhm.
So meaning like I just don't want trainers to come in here and walk around and then not knowing what program design, just be a trainer with my logo. I want my trainers to understand what HIIT Fitness is about. What is, the program for everybody, their injuries. But I'm happy to say, when they come in, yeah, they might train with me for about 2 to 3 years. And, they serve well for my community, serve well for our clients. It's great. But also it makes me happy knowing that they're leaving and they have so much knowledge just from being here and training, getting the experience and getting experience from me. Just they still come to me to this day. I still talk to trainers that been with me 5, 10, 15 years ago, and we still talk to this day and just shoot, hey, I have this client. What do you think? Do you think I should do this? Should I do that? But it makes me feel good knowing a lot of them, believe it or not, leave, 2, 3 years in, but they open up their own business. I get it. you know I try to keep my trainers happy. I try to keep them, where they need to be, the pay rate, all that. It's a steady busy, but unfortunately in this business, you have to accept the goal is they want to open up their own gym also.
Hmm.
you know, and then, but I understand that because I've been one of those people. So it makes me happy knowing that, you know, when they leave and they open up their own gig, man, that's awesome, you know. So it's as long as I know that we're all good.
Yeah, 100%. Tell me, with over 20 years in the industry, you've seen every trend come and go. What do most people get wrong about personal training and getting results?
Sure. So when people think about personal trainer, people just think you guys are just professional counters, right?
Mhm.
You're just sitting there, you know, all right, sit on this machine and I'm going to put it on 20 pounds and push it. That's what most people think. But it's, you know, especially when we come here, when HIIT Fitness Training, we're, we're very functional, dude. It's like learning how to do a deadlift, how to do squats, how to bench press, how to pull up, how to just do a push up, or you know, just the dynamics behind that. You know, people get wrong. There's actually there's code behind it. You know, the right symmetry. It's you got to have the right coach to have all that. So when we teach our clientele and the people, so when they come in, they're like, oh, this is what it is. Because when you go to, listen, I'm not knocking out the big box gyms, but majority of the time, you know, you walk in there, all they doing is sitting on machines. Listen, anyone could do that.
Mhm.
Anyone, you know, but over here, you know, it's you're not sitting on a machine. You're moving, you're learning at the same time. But don't also, the biggest thing I see a lot in this industry is that people overcoach. They don't care how uh, they don't care how the, you know, this muscle originates here and inserts here. Just tell them what it is, how we do it, and and that's it. And go along about your day. You
Mm.
know, people at the end of the day really don't care as long as they get the results. You know, there's a lot of different programs out there. You know, what is the best program? You know, I don't think there really is no best program. I think everyone has a different ability, has a different skill, has a different body composition, and you have to treat it that way. Everyone doesn't train the same. You know, I might train differently than all my clients, and it should be that way. I like the old school. I believe it or not, I like to kind of hit one body part, two body parts a day. I like that. You know, that's what
Mm.
keeps me going. But that client that comes in that's only seeing the gym 2 or 3 days a week, you know, they're not going to get bang for their buck just training one body part per per day per week. So you always got to go full body, push, pull, hip and knee, and a core exercise, man. Like keep it around 10 exercises, 12 exercises in that workout, 50 minutes. That's all you need.
You're very honest about this being a luxury service, and
Yes.
that when people's finances get tight, training is often the first thing cut. Given that reality, how do you think about pricing and value for one-on-one training, small groups, and in-home sessions?
Sure. So that that's a big thing in, you know, today's world. Like personal training is a luxury, but I think, you know, if it was up to me, I think everyone should have a personal trainer. I'm not just
Mhm.
saying that because I'm in the personal training industry. I think that you know, everyone has doctors, everyone has an ENT, everyone has a dentist. Why not have a personal trainer? Why not have a coach? Why not have liability? Why not have, you know, the camaraderie of someone else? And most people tell me this when they walk in. I need to know that you're there waiting for me at 2 o'clock, and you know, I know that I have to be there, and that's my workout. I need to be on that schedule, and that's for them. But times do get tough in today's world. You know, when finances go, and usually we're first on the chopping block when finances go south. You know, I try to work, for me specifically, when people come in and say, Dan, you know what, man, it's I'm getting kind of I'm getting kind of strapped for cash. You know, what can we do? I always say we can drop back a day. Um, how about this? Why don't we do this instead of this? It is very expensive for personal training, such as it can go anywhere, right? For one-on-one coaching, it can go anywhere from $130 a session all the way down to 65 a session. It depends on where you price yourself. I think I price myself pretty fair. Being in the area, every area is different.
Mhm.
To me, to say I'm in Pennsylvania, and if you go to the Hamptons in New York, you can't touch a trainer for less than $200 an hour for a trainer in New York. So, I think you got to look at the comps. I think you should price yourself well. I think you should price yourself what you're worthy of. I think for me, being in the industry, knowing what I know, and I think I price myself pretty fair. So, but
Mhm.
other than I try to keep that client, and I try to make it fair to make it work for both of us, because you do develop that nice close relationship. Um, you know what they want. They trying to do it, but sometimes the funds aren't there. Sometimes and I understand that. So I try to make it fair for both of us if that time does come up.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, but personal training is investing in yourself, in health, like not just a physical health, but psychological health, mental health, emotional health, that relationship with the coach. How do you communicate that value so people feel like they're investing in themselves, not just buying workouts?
sure. So like you said, personal training. So you got to get on that personal note. So when they come in, you got to make sure that they're feeling like they're investing in you and your clientele. You got to stay on top of them. All right, just shooting little text messages, just shooting, um, nutrition things, happy holidays, happy birthday. That personal note takes everything, and you got to make sure that you do get results. Because at the end of the day, sometimes, listen, I might not be for people, and that's okay. It happens. People walk in here and they try out for a week, 2 weeks, and it's not for them. You don't click. But what I
Hmm.
do for my clientele is just you got to know you got to see what works for them. You got to make them happy. You got to program the right design for them. You got to give them homework. I think always staying connected with your clientele. I'm not saying shoot them a message every time, all that, but I think once in a
Mm.
blue moon, I think you should shoot out a text.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man, great workout, and I really do mean it. It's like I'm not just sending. That's what type of person I am. I think, hey, listen, you did a great workout today. Looking forward to our next one, man. Have a good weekend.
Yeah,
You
it's
know, that's
enough.
that's it. I think that's all it takes.
Mhm. Most of your business now comes from referrals, you said, which says a lot about the quality of what you do. What
Yes,
do you,
sir.
what do you think you done consistently over 20 years that made people so willing to recommend you?
I think fortunately, I've been blessed, man. I have clients that's been with me for 15, 20 years still to this day. So that tells me something right from there, and they're giving me referrals. Um, I wish there was two of me and sometimes three of me. Because when people come in, they think they're getting me, but they're not. But I actually have an awesome staff. My trainers are top notch. Like I said, they they go through the same school when I did, the national personal. That's only I hires the national personal trainers. That's that they're the only people I tried hiring outside of that box, and nothing matches up. So that
Hmm.
has to tell me something from the program, that you know someone that takes a 2 hour test online and then someone that goes through the program that I went through, that just it's night and day, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but I think fortunately, I'm still in that business because one of my good friends, Barry, uh, he's still the head instructor, and I always shoot him a text. Hey, listen, you got anyone good? Coming out of the school? Anyone you have your eyes looking on? And he'll say, yeah, absolutely. Here's so and so. So fortunately, I'm game for that. But
Hmm.
People that again, I'm trying to the referral thing. We're, the people that do trust me is because, again, going to that personal thing, I make sure that all their needs are taken care of, such as their workouts, the nutrition. I give them homework sometimes if they're, if they go away. Uh, I give them some workout plans, and then also I offer Zoom training.
Mhm.
If they go to away Miami or this and that, and if I have something available, I kind of offer my services on Zoom. It's not the best thing, but it's still something that you get my program, and we go from there.
You also mentioned your wife handles the online side. From your point of view as an owner and coach, how important has that online presence been, and where do you still see room to grow?
I think for for uh, for the online thing for Zoom training, I think it's great. I think that I still rather train in the gym. Um, I still do my clients that I've been with for 15 years. I still Zoom train with them. I started off with them on, down in the city, but I think once like COVID hit and all that stuff, we just stuck with Zoom, and it works for people, and I'm open to that. And I think for me, um, unfortunately, there's not enough time in my schedule to always keep the online presence open for me.
Mhm.
I'd rather train in the gym. That's me personally. But my clientele, I offer it to them just to, they still get a piece of me. They still get my training. Um, but could we grow more on the online? Because that's where a lot of this technology is going. But I think for me, again, going to that word personal training, man, it's that personal touch when you come in. There's nothing
Mm.
like getting in front of that client and telling them what to do. But also, I can coach pretty well through my ears too, and through my mouth for you to listen, saying, "Hey, listen, we're gonna do A, B, C. All right. Well, when you stand like this, you're gonna do this. You can kind of coach that through the online, also.
Mhm.
But being in present time, I like that a little more.
I think on the trend, on future trends, I think it will be more valuable to get in person.
I
Definitely.
th- I think you get more bang for your buck um, when you know that you got to drive here.
Mhm.
You got to come in, and I think it's worthwhile, more worth your buck coming in instead of doing the online thing. I get it, um, but the way the world's moving, it looks like it's kind of going to the online, but I haven't seen that yet. So I like people just coming here. It's like a big community here, man. It's like a big Thanksgiving feast when you walk in here. Really, it's everyone knows everyone. It's family. They talk to each other. They go outside of the gym, which is happy, for
Yeah.
for for some people.
How do you think about the next 5 to 10 years for yourself? Is it about stability, quality, and family time more than chasing endless growth?
Sure, like if you had this conversation 10 years ago, man, it's this is I was that trainer that worked from 4 a.m. till 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
My wife, Liz, she supported me. We've been together since we were 19 years old, man. So I'm 41 right now. She's been with me from the start. So uh, putting that time in and having her behind me and kind of growing the business means a lot, man. And what I see 5 to 10 years, I think you already said it, man. I think it's the quality of the training. I really
Mhm.
don't care about, yeah, the money is nice, man. The quantity instead of quality, it's nice. But I'm more about getting people results and getting results that they want. The like the going back on the quality thing is just putting that personal touch on a lot of people. I think goes a long way. You can make it a like a mill factory in here, client after client after client. But if you're not putting out good results, why, you know, it's not worth it to me. But what I see again, going back to 5, 10 years going forward, I think I think I'll keep the same people. I hope I'm blessed with more and more people. But I've been having a steady book for 5, 10 years, man. It's been a blessing being in this business. But I do scale back a little bit. I do have two daughters. When they were from young, they're what are they? Almost 12 and 8 now. It's a little easier when they're a little younger. You know, but as they get older, I don't want to miss anything. As today and today, you're not going to get back that time. I don't want. That's probably another topic we can get on.
Yeah.
But I think for me personally, I'm going to try to make it to everything my kids have. Because again, I've been in the business for a long time, and I think I put my time in, and I kind of like my schedule the way it's at. So I kind of like where I'm sitting. Even 5, 10 years, even 5, 10 years from now, I hope my business just stays the way it keeps growing. Am I open to build another bigger gym? I told myself this was it. This was going to be my final headquarters, but you never know. I might hit that wall again, and if I do that, it's game on. I'm always open to new opportunities. I'm open to new business adventures. But my biggest thing is if you have a good staff, a good set of trainers, let the business run itself. Right? I think that if you do that, you'll be okay. And then I do take my vacations. I do go out. I do take a little bit more time. I go see my girls play basketball, soccer. I get to do that now. But guess what? I have 5 other people that kind of take the load, and that's when okay, you're okay. You did it. I don't have to kind of look back like when I was younger. Oh man, they can't survive without me. Yeah, that does sit back in a little bit of the back of my head, but because it's my business and I get it. But if I'm blessed with a good staff, I have good trainers. They're willing to take the bullet. They're doing great. So I think 5, 10 years from now, if we have to build a bigger gym, we'll build a bigger gym. We'll build a bigger boat if we have to. But I think we're blessed the way we are, where we're at now. For 5, 10 years later down the road.
Definitely. Let's finish with some advice. If a young trainer, 22 to 25 years old, came to you and said, "Dan, I want to still be in the game 20 years from now like you. What should I focus on?"
Number one thing, man, you ready? Honesty. Be loyal. Don't be a crook. That's big with me, man. Honesty. It's to be a good coach. If you're just starting out, stick what you're doing. Don't give up. Really, don't give up. If this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, just keep grinding. You'll get there. All right. Just the biggest thing I would take away from this, again, be a good coach, be honest, and don't get out of the game. Stay in it. I know it's tough. This is a tough industry. It really is. Like I said, most average personal trainer, they only last 2 to 3, 4 years, 2 to 4 years, to say, right? But for me, just be honest, man. If you have a strong passion for this, I think you'll make it really big in this field. Always stay up to date. Don't always go to seminars, take classes. Just because you have your degree or personal training cert, don't stop there, man. Just keep learning, keep educating. Because times are different, times change. People are going to come in with all different injuries, and you got to learn how to deal with that. So I think as young as you are, if you're 20 again, keep educating yourself, because I see a lot of people stop. They think, okay, well, I know what a chest press is. I know what this is. That's it. And I think that's the worst place to be. I think if you just keep on getting your continuing education, don't stop learning. Don't that's what I would tell my young self. Don't stop, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't stop learning, and I'm still not. Listen, I don't know everything. I'm still learning to this day. I sit on seminars, I read books, I try to do everything possible to know every piece of information I possibly can. So, but to tell my young self, Dan, that's what I would say.
Then this has been awesome. If someone lives near you in Pennsylvania and wants to train with you or your team, or if another trainer wants to learn from you what you build, where's the best place to find you online?
Absolutely. You can find us over at HIIT We're located right in the Feasterville area in Trevose, in Pennsylvania. Again, my website, you can catch me at HIITFitnessTraining.com. You can check out our social media on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We have a bunch of videos on there. If you want to learn anything, uh, click the link. You can find the business page on Facebook, and you can follow them from there. You get all my information. If you want to learn more about me and the other trainers, go to our website, click about us, and shoot me a message.
We'll put all those links in the description. Dan, thanks again for sharing your story and experience with us.
Thank you, Marko. I appreciate it, buddy.
Elevate yourself. Empower others. Welcome to Coach Approach Podcast.